see, so forging a signature was a walkover. But I did take the precaution of changing her bank when I moved home. Which is where I met my Gerald, of course. He was the manager there, and fell for me hook, line and sinker. Once we were married, I felt certain my secret was safe. And so it was until he came along poking and prying into things that were none of his concern! How was I to know that Marianne had an elder brother? She never mentioned it. Nobody had. And suddenly, there they were. A whole family I knew nothing about. A family who could have photographs, letters, anything to prove I wasn't the real Marianne Walker. Oh, I nearly died of shock.
But you asked Mr. Peregrine to find it for you. I heard you myself.
Well, of course I did. I wasn't going to tell him I didn't want to meet them. But it was then I decided it had to be stopped. When you went to the hospital, I got dressed again and went round to his house. He'd left his card on the table and Gerald's car was still in the garage, so transport wasn't a problem. I parked a few streets away and walked the rest of the distance. He was rather surprised to see me, but I gave him some rigmarole about Marianne's German grandmother, and he offered me tea. Didn't take much to Dr. Gismanson to picture it, and he fell asleep quite quickly. Once I'd started the fire, I slipped out again and, unseen of course, and drove home. He never stood a chance.
Why are you telling me this?
Well, I thought that was obvious. You falsely accuse your husband of assaulting you. Now you accuse him of being the supermarket poisoner and killing Mr. Perryman. What more lies might you dream up to justify his stabbing? The death of your mother? Oh, no. Her death was entirely due to you, and I can never forgive you for it. The world has lost a superlative singer. You should never have told me I'd inherit her fortune if she ratified her new will. £50 million, money I never wanted or deserved. Can you imagine my dismay if I did inherit? The publicity would be enormous. My private life would be public property, and Lord knows what the press might turn up in pursuit of a story. The only solution was to make sure she never got the chance to do it. When Carla took me shopping in the morning, I doctored the milk in the supermarket with a syringe full of a little concoction of mine. Oh, not enough to cause any real harm, but enough to cause concern in those who drank it. My biggest problem, however, was to make sure that Profosa was thought of as simply another victim of the prank. One who, unfortunately, died as a result. I fancy I managed that part rather well.
But you drank it too.
Well, of course I did. But only after Carla rushed out of the room to get home. Prior to that, I was pretending. Once she'd gone, I pinched your mother's nostrils until she stopped breathing, sipped my own dose of the poison, so that by the time assistants arrived, I was just as ill as the rest of them. Oh. You can imagine my fright when they started her breathing again. But fortunately, she slipped into the coma that finally claimed her. Poor Profosa. She deserved better than that. Much better! But what could I do? I couldn't take the risk.
You're totally mad, aren't you?
I don't think so, dear. Perhaps a little protective of my privacy than most people, but mad? No, I wouldn't agree with that.
You're completely out of your mind, standing there like some benevolent Buddha. Pum, you've been nothing more than a stark raving lunatic. You killed my mother!
And you killed your husband.
Oh, no, no. You. Yes, ground. You'll never see a penny of my mother's money.
I'm certain I won't, dear. Not that I ever wanted it. But I'm sure Carla will see it's put to good use.
Carla, what's she got to do with this?
Well, as you know, I came home via the hospital. They found something unrelated to the poisoning and ran tests. Today I got no results. I was expecting the worst.
What?
Cancer. Terminal at my age, I imagine.
Oh, it couldn't have happened to a more deserving person.
I was hoping for a few weeks at least, long enough to make a will leaving everything to Carla, including your mother's millions.
Do what you like, I don't care. I'll contest mother's will or share it with Carla. It makes no difference to me.
It turns out the results were quite unexpected. That silly little lump is quite harmless, and given my new lease of life, I've had to revise my plans. In a couple of days' time, to my astonishment, I'm going to discover Trefosa's last will and testament hidden in the desk where she'd left it for safekeeping.
No, but there is no new will. Frank didn't find
I
it.
know, I'm well aware that your husband went through my belongings and found nothing. But it's not as if you'll be able to tell the police, is it? Thank you for that. As to the will itself, well, it won't be the first time I've forged a document. Naturally, Trefosa will leave everything to Carla, and as I'm not due to receive anything other than a brooch, I can be one witness, and dear silenced, Mr. Perryman, will be the other.
Look, none of this matters. Once the police hear my story, I know who they're going to believe. I'll give them a call now, shall I?
Oh, that's true. But you, of course, will be in no position to tell me. There was something more than sugar in the drink you had just now. Oh, I can see you're feeling the effects already.
Hello.
You had to be punished, you see. Not just for making me kill your mother, but for all the other things you've done. I couldn't bear the thought of you escaping scot-free through lack of proof.
Oh, please, help me. I don't feel very well. Please. Please help me. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Please help me.
What a tragedy! I'd come home after the funeral to find you murdered your husband and then committed suicide. I've no idea why, of course. Perhaps you could leave me a note. I could manage that. Yes, that's such a good idea. On my best note paper, of course. Oh, what's this? Troppo Signore, Adriana. This is your mother's Adriana! Oh! Troppo Signore, Trefosa Swan in rehearsal. Oh,
You've been living with that perception for all those years.
Very good.
That was a stonking performance by you, Mr.
Very good.
It's quite a distraction on there, thank you.
It's just like this. I don't have a clue what's going on around, and I couldn't give it.
Yeah, the trouble is it's awkward when you're inside. It shouldn't be long.